Hi, and welcome to the first episode of It Gets to Be Easy. Oh my gosh, Joe, I couldn't be more excited.
I know, right? I'm so excited too.
This has been something that has been percolating for Joe and I for a really long time. And it has a bit of a story of how it began because we worked really closely with a beautiful friend of ours. And well, she has become a friend of ours, but our coach, Gabby Abrams. And this little seed was planted in our minds probably 18 months, maybe 12, 18 months ago of it gets to be easy. And it's kind of blossomed. I can remember, I don't know what your thoughts were, Joe, but when I first heard it, I almost choked because my experience in business was far from easy. It was far from, I had 47 staff. I had 2 locations. I was running around crazily. So my experience of business was really different. And I know us working together, like your business was far from that as well.
Well, my experience in the corporate world and in the online space, in fact, to be honest, back as far as, when I was a little girl, right? And this is some of the stuff that we're going to be covering in this podcast is why we have the beliefs that we have. And for me, I watched my father, who was a super successful and incredible businessman, but my goodness, he worked so freaking hard. He worked every hour that he possibly could. So for me, in my mind, that was what you had to do to be successful. So if I wasn't hustling, if I wasn't on calls at night, if I wasn't working weekends, if I didn't constantly have I'm so busy about it, right? We've all sat at breakfast with our girlfriends or cocktails with our girlfriends, and everyone bangs on about how freaking busy they are. It's like a badge of honor. And it's BS. Like, I don't want my life to be like that anymore. And so we have found a way that we don't work like that. And we make a ton of money doing it. And we have so much fun.
Yeah. And where this podcast came from was we wanted to bring that to everybody else because we are surrounded by successful business women and men. But they all have this same vein that runs through that they believe that business has to be hard. And the amount of times I've heard so many women that I've had conversations with going, oh, it's just really hard. Like, and sometimes, as Joe was saying, like, that story that we have of accomplishment that comes with, oh, it was so hard, so therefore I must be a better human being because I've accomplished, I've been a gladiator, I've made it, and I've fought the hardest person in the arena, so therefore my success must be so much better. But I think what today I want to really kind of drill down with everybody is the belief that we as a business, we made It Gets to Be Easy one of our top values and one of our business ethos. So it's even above our values. It is everything that we choose to do in our business is filtered through, is this going to give us the yes life that we want? Is it going to give us the business lifestyle that we want? And I know, we've had so many conversations where we've actually had to handbrake things because they've gone down a path of actually that's not going to give us the life that we really want, or that's turned out to be way more cumbersome on one of us. And so therefore we've gone, that's not quite right, and had to tweak things or change the way we do that. So I know that, when we first met, and if people have been known us for a while, they would have heard our story, but how Joe and I came together was a beautiful kind of synchronistic turn of events. So we'd known each other for 10 years, but in the essence of having a rosé one day and having this conversation about your business, Joe, and kind of you had created $1 million business, but didn't have the $1 million lifestyle, which I know now you do. And maybe share a little bit of that story from your perspective with everyone.
Yeah. So I was still so stuck in that hustle and that it has to be hard, that, in order to have a 7-figure business, I had to basically kill myself. And only then did it mean something. And if I'm really freaking honest, that was a good 3 years ago. And at that point, I also, I attached my own value, my own self-worth, which so many of us females do, to the success of my business and the wealth that I created. And so if I wasn't having the success that I thought I should have, I mean, whoever feels like they've made it, Ro and I laugh and joke that we wish, like, we just know that
you never get there and you're never done.
We never get there and we're never done. But and so I had this business, but I was dying inside and I had no life and it wasn't leveraged and it definitely was not fun. And I had this beautiful rosé wine with Ro one day, and we'd had a very similar conversation 12 months earlier, but I was so stuck in the hustle and the need for it to be hard and so overwhelmed and stressed, ladies, right? Like, in one ear and out the other. It's a real thing when we've got 1,000 balls in the air. Like, Ro and I have 3 kids between us. We're real women just like you. We have 1,000 things in the air and kids' birthday parties to prepare for and, like after school activities, and it's just never ending. And we're running businesses and trying to look great and all the things, right? Like, which is just all of our lives. And, sitting down with Ro, finally, I was ready to hear what she said, which was, in order to have the freedom in your business that you're chasing, Jo, you need to get organized and you need systems, which we'll talk about in another podcast. But I needed leverage. I needed my business to run without me, and it didn't. And now it does, and it's so easy and fun. And, I live right on the beach thanks to my amazing business and life. And I truly am living my yes life. We're going to do a whole podcast on our yes life because it's so freaking important to us. But, I now have a business that if I want to go and lie on the beach is just there, literally on my doorstep. I can do that for an hour or 2 a day because that to me is freedom.
Yeah. And I think, like, to me, the essence of it gets to be easy is making the business choices. Like, this is where I think it all comes down to, like, the crux of it is that you have the same business as you had before, but you've just gone about things differently because you've filtered it through a different belief structure, or you've thought about things and planned them differently because the way they were working was not self-sufficient, and now they are self-sufficient. And so things like systems and automation and all the things that, we love to talk about till the cows come home, they're the things that you need to put into your business to kind of give you that freedom. And your business is a network marketing business, as a lot of people will know. And I think a lot of people get into network marketing because it is a leveraged business. But what I think is really important to bring to everybody's attention is there's lots of different ways to do network marketing. Yes, there's lots of different companies, but there's lots of different ways to actually participate in the act of doing network marketing. And I think there's a leveraged way of doing it, teaching and creating onboarding systems and onboarding team members so that they're empowered to really excel on their own and not be reliant on you. And the same in any business, creating team members that have the tools and have the resources to make their own decisions and not having to kind of come back to that owner of the business all the time that's kind of one sense, but it is also a business model that you have to choose. So there's so many there's so many facets to what we actually have to filter things through, because even within our business, our joint business, it's not network marketing. And we've had lots of discussions around the ethos of it gets to be easy. What are ways in which you can make money in our business that, there's some ways that are really time heavy, and you know, the way that you set programs up, you can put a lot of you into it, or you can do the one-to-many where you're in a Facebook group and you're doing a live to hundreds of people. And so how leveraged can each of the things be that you do in business? So
I think you just said something that just popped into my head, Ro. You know, we had to make a decision like 2 years ago or 18 months ago, I think it was 18 months ago, that we wanted our business to be easy. Like we wanted it gets to be easy. Like you said, we made it our value. It's our business ethos. But we really then, you know, and you guys listening, you have to, whatever you want your business to be, it can be that way. Like what you think about, you bring about, what you talk about, you bring about, right? We know that. But you have to get really clear on what you want and then go about creating it. And, you know, yes, systems, automation, all of that is so important. But what's more important than that actually is learning how to call in what you want. Learning how to become a master manifester, which Ro and I absolutely have done by surrounding ourselves with people and with communities that are full of like-minded females like us. Learning how to harness our money mindset, like I talked about, like learning, like getting rid of the belief. And to be honest, the probably the childhood trauma that you have to work hard to make a shit ton of money. And that's actually not true. Not true at all anymore, particularly in the decade that we're living in, like social media, the rise of it, the fact that we can run online empires and touch people all over the world is so freaking awesome. And we get to do it with our pajamas on the bottom. Well, I don't have my pajamas on the bottom today, but I've still got my tights from Pilates this morning. And, you know, because that is easy for me. I just whack a top on for a video. And, you know, I just think that we really want you to make a decision this year for yourself that, and maybe it gets to be easy, doesn't excite you. But if there's anything in there that does excite you, then come and hang out with us on this podcast, because we're going to be sharing all of that stuff. How to become a master manifester like we are, how to harness your money mindset for good, not evil, like how to literally transform your own limiting beliefs and your saboteurs so that they work for you and not against you, like how to reprogram your subconscious. Because, and we're not going to be teaching that because we're not experts, but Gabby, our amazing, beautiful coach and friend, is. And so we're going to have her on the podcast in an upcoming episode, and she's going to blow your mind.
Yeah. And I think beliefs are another big one, which I think the topic of this podcast is the belief that we took on of it gets to be easy. Like a belief is just a thought that you keep thinking. So think about the thoughts that you're thinking and think about how they're serving you. Think about how, if you've chosen to believe something, you're going to, you know, your ego is going to do everything it can to make you right. Mm-hmm. So think about that, you know, make some choices of the things that you want to believe. And if having an easy business is something you want to choose to believe in, then actually hang around people that believe that to be true. And yes, it may not be your reality. And, you know, when you see your current reality and you're looking at your bank account, or you're looking at your, you know, your house, or you're looking at your car, or you're looking at the things that you currently have, and you're like, or your business, you know, and it's not easy right now. Like, what are you talking about, ladies? Like, I think there's going to be people out there that are going to scoff at, you know, it's business. It's meant to be hard because that's so ingrained in your current reality. And all we're asking is take a shift, like think about what it could be like if your business was easy, and how, what things you could put into place in your business to make it easy, and move in that direction, because you won't create a new reality of it being easy unless you start to think about that and focus your thoughts, your daily thoughts, your every moment thoughts on moving towards that and proving that to be true and creating that new reality and letting go of the old. So huge topic. I love that we've dove straight into something that's really, really juicy. But I think, for me, beliefs are the number one key to getting what you want. Is you've got to start to believe that it's a possibility. And I think one of the other big things around it gets to be easy for me was tying my identity up with delivering something. So because I did a lot of creative work, and so delivering somebody's brand or delivering somebody's website or delivering somebody's wellness program or whatever it was, like there was a sense of me being in that process that gave me a really big sense of I'm worthy. Like, look at me, I'm somebody, I'm doing good things in the world. And to make my life easier and to give myself more hours back, I needed to shift out of that and move into a place where I could let others deliver that amazing product, that amazing website, that amazing design, still be a part of it, but not have to physically do those hours myself. And I totally to me, I flipped that on its head, and I was like, wow, okay, it does get to be easy. And I started, for me personally, and I don't know for you, Joe, but love to hear, it was such a slow process, like as in I had to really kind of chip away at it. And I think every time we get to a new kind of benchmark in our business, or we want to push ourselves to the next level, we have this hard kind of grinds to a halt. We get really uncomfortable, and then we burst through the next ceiling. But I think, that belief was such a big shift for us. And yeah.
So it was huge for you, Ro. And so many of you listening, I'm sure, are probably still here. Like I knew, as one of the CEOs, there's two of us in our company, I knew that for us to break through to that next income level, that 7-figure year, that Ro needed to get rid of that belief and let our team do more. And it was very, very slow. Beliefs are not easy to let go of. We've been living them for years, guys, decades, right? But oh my goodness, the magic, I knew that the magic was there. And of course we kept going, and we kept holding on to and reminding ourselves that, in order to get to that next level of it gets to be easy, that we had to drop some of the things that we were doing for both of us. And there will be so many things in your business that you're so attached to, and actually somebody else could be doing it. And not just in your business, like in your life. Like for me, I don't clean my own house. I'm like, I don't have time for that. And I don't do a lot of my food prep anymore because I don't find that fun. I would rather be on the beach, hanging with my friends or my son, or working in one of my businesses, because that is fun for me. And
recording podcasts.
Recording podcasts.
How excited were we this morning?
And you know what? I think our next episode is going to be about your a yes life and creating that, and we're starting to get into that now. So I reckon that I think we've finished our first podcast.
Totally have. Oh my god, we've done
that
it.
Was fun.
All right, guys,
join us next time.
Yeah, and dig deep and find some of those beliefs that you want to replace and create a different life to the one that you've currently got. See you guys.